one of the things we buried here on the show, one of the biggest buried lead things I think we've done in a while. You're a published author. You had a book there on the story and the life of JD McDuffie, and you have a second book in the work. And you also have a pretty cool event come up next week. So I want you to share with us a little bit about each of those things and how those next events look for you and how this book coming up is looking for you.
Oh, absolutely. No, thank you. And, yes. So as you mentioned, Dominic, I have one book that's published and another one that's on the way. The one that's on the way, I'll mention first here, is a biography of Derek Cope. Derek and his wife, Alicia, have been extremely helpful. We've been doing interviews since 2018, just describing, his story. And again, another upset at Daytona, very timely with what's going on this week here. Driving
the Brock, what year was that?
1990. So yeah, a ways back there. So actually, just before I got into the sport.
What a great story about that is when Dale Earnhardt went into turn 3, coming to the checkered flag, and we see him go high because his right rear tire was flat. When he pulled into the garage area of the Daytona, I guess he was the first kid standing there. I had snuck into the garage that year and was in the garage, and man, I was everywhere. And I got pictures in one of my albums of that car. I mean, it was right there when he pulled into the garage with the flat right rear tire. Man, it was amazing. But what a story for Derek Cope, and it's cool. And to become great friends with Derek. It's cool that you wrote that. That you was involved in writing that the book for Derek. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you. No, I had no idea. See, that's the thing. It's like a race like that. Everybody experiences different, but to be there firsthand, I can't even imagine. But that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, talking with Derek, talking with not just the Daytona win, but then his win at Dover later on, other teams he's driven for, and really how he got into racing. I mean, he's like a lot of these other drivers that I talk about. I mean, he's just lived an interesting life. But my first book that I did was actually on the late JD McDuffie, and you and I were talking about this a bit earlier, David, as well, because of course you drove for Jimmy Means, who's again a good friend of JD's, during his career. Both owner drivers working their way through the ranks, trying to get the best run they can. That was my first book, and again, at the time, I really wanted to kind of do a lot more research on it because it didn't seem like there was a main source to kind of get all the stories together. And there were so many stories from people that were fans, members of the team, his family, his wife, Imogene, sadly passed away last year. I got to interview her before that, his daughter, Linda. And it seemed like everybody I talked to knew 2 or 3 other people that wanted to be a part of it. I think we had more than 30 interviews at the end of it. And that was my first book on that. And what's really touched me since then is just how many even more people, I wouldn't say more people. I mean, well, there are some people that now know about JD that didn't before, and that's awesome enough as it is. But I sense also there's a lot of people who did know him, and then for decades, he kind of just almost fell into myth a little bit. It's kind of strange to say that, but it seems like a lot of people that shared these stories, it almost was like they hadn't said this in years. Or certainly with Jimmy Means, it was like that. And sharing their memories and coming out, and there's, I think I'd like to believe that there's been some healing that's happened since then, because of course the way JD lost his life was very traumatic for all involved. I mean, his team, his family, and everybody else. But we did a book tour at Watkins Glen in 2018. Myself, Linda McDuffie, and Charlie Birch, who was the team photographer. We stayed at his place for that week. We visited the track. It was a great promotion we did there. And now, these years later, 4 years later, this next Monday, September 5th, is going to be JD McDuffie Day in Lee County, where Sanford, North Carolina is, JD's hometown. And they're going to unveil a mural at 329 Carthage Street. The unveiling is between 12 and 6 p.m. At that location. There's going to be a car show. They're going to be having some other guests there. Hopefully Jimmy Means will be there. I know, David, you were asking about that earlier. They are looking to kind of get some some drivers to show up there, and just bring as many people as possible. So it's going to be the day after the Southern 500, between 12 and 6 in Sanford, North Carolina. and I'll be providing the additional information for that. So
Man,
all of-
I love it.